There's a cafe in there, if you want a cup of tea, coffee.
Yes.
And you've probably been here before.
Yes, I've been 3 or 4 times now. Yes.
Right, you can tell me how.
I'm Brian Warwick, I'm the Vice Chair of the South West Senior Network, and I'm very much looking forward to today. It's a really good subject here, shaping our own future as far as older people is concerned, and some excellent action groups taking place. The dignity and care, I think that's very, very essential as older people is concerned. Issues around transport, housing, and of course the ageing well. So I'm hoping there's good participation from the audience and we get a tremendous amount of value out of today's meeting. And it's a good opportunity to hear older people's voices, but also some of the professional views that's being expressed.
Linking together, talking together, presenting a joint voice for the southwest of England. That's what I'm hoping to network a lot today, plus gaining some up-to-date information.
One of the main things I'd like is to see how Age UK is going to work with the independent forums and try and get them to work in partnership rather than dictating what we do.
Well, I hope some new ideas. I hope some resolution what's going to happen with the new Age UK and the forums and what sort of compacts they're going to make or not make.
To debate and discuss and hopefully influence the sort of issues that are very prevalent to us, such as care issues. We have left it too often for professionals to say what they think is right for older people. It's time that older people actually had some influence and some power in designing the sort of services that we need and should be totally engaged in the design of them and even in the provision of them.
Networking is always useful, and ideas and contacts, that's the sort of thing. We continue to press to improve the lot of pensioners, and any information we can get is going to help in that process. There's 13.5 million pensioners in this country. If we could all get together and speak with one voice, or even 50% of us, then government would listen to us. But at the moment we're fragmented and we don't have a united voice.
I work in a small team supporting the 9 English forums on ageing. Government sees these forums as a very important mechanism to hear the voices of older people. I believe this government is listening. The fact that we fund these 9 English forums and we've agreed to fund them for the next 2 years, I think is testament to that, to the seriousness of how much they take on.
Good morning everyone. Hello. My name's Valerie Singleton and I'm very delighted to welcome you to the South West Seniors Assembly of 2012. I'm very pleased and delighted to be asked to chair this assembly today because as I expect you've all sussed out, I've now entered the ranks of being a senior. And, yes, surprise, surprise. And in fact, I've got another birthday coming up in about 10 days' time on Easter Monday, so you can all wish me an early birthday. Thank you. Don't tell you which one it is. I also live locally, so I feel I'm kind of got a reason to be here. And of course, it means that all the subjects under discussion today will be very of great interest to me. Well, we have a very full and tightly packed day for you today. We're going to begin the morning with a series of speakers who will get us all into the right mood for the main action of the day, which is 4 groups, which will take place, 4 action groups, where all of us will have the chance to discuss some of the biggest issues that are facing older people today and come up, we hope, with some possible proposals for dealing with them. Now, the first of our 4 speakers this morning is Lizzie Felto, Age UK's Policy Advisor on Social Care, and she's going to talk on our first theme, how do we provide dignity and care for older people? Will you please welcome Lizzie Felto.
I work for Age UK in the head office and I'm a policy advisor, and my work covers really mainly social care issues. And at the moment I'm working a great deal on the issue of social care reform. And what I'd like to talk to you about today is we're going to get onto specifically the dignity issue, but I thought it might be helpful for you if
Even as small as the shop, the post office, even the pubs are giving up now, and all these places where people actually met and met people face to face and made friendships.
How do you see that the changes to legislation around shorter tenures for new tenants and the need to qualify to be tenants on income grounds, etc., may affect that move that people have traditionally made when they've reached a certain age?
It's bureaucracy that cripples the care system. People have a choice and a right whether they live in their own home or go into care homes and so on. But we're finding it very hard to be able to maintain people in their own home when you've got situations like health, adult social care and housing not working together.
And we just had a very lively discussion on issues surrounding transport, particularly rural transport.
Have any original ideas come up for rural transport?
I think there have, in terms of the potential of exploiting some existing community transport schemes, because we're living in a sort of environment at the moment whereby there are many providers, right from taxis to public transport, which in terms of people that live in rural communities might need to be better coordinated than they currently are to maximise sort of opportunities that already exist.
On some of the work we're doing in terms of developing our partnerships with forums and friends around the country. We're engaging in delivering services to more people, nearly 7 million across the country, and we want to ensure that we have vibrant forums and friends and friendship centres driving our work going forward.
Groups of older people as well, then mobilise, and collectively that tripartite voice is ever more powerful and impactful as a result.
Government investment in superfast broadband, that's very good for these wonderful big cities and towns. We're rural, very, very rural, particularly where I live. It's not too bad, but the elastic band doesn't stretch long enough to reach to my house. What I'm saying is, if you've got influence, which you say you have, please use it to get the government to invest a little bit more of their money down this way.
One of the things we're working on at the moment is to try and train 5,000 older people around the country to go out into their communities and their forums so they can actually train other older people on the basis that it's not always the best solution to have a
We cannot get the local GPs, surgeries, to put up in their notice boards, which they have got several of, the actual minutes or the actual membership or the actual meeting places, both for the forum, the senior citizens links and the older people's champion, because it is considered non-medical.
The potential role of GP surgeries and practices being the hub of opportunities that will exist for transport schemes, deciding who needs befriending, etc. We're going to see massive changes where that's going to become the focus of the healthcare system. Let's utilise that to effect and think about putting some of our needs and requirements within that sort of enterprise.
I think personally that's one of the best ideas I've seen, for ages. That's such a obviously think about it, but why aren't people doing more of it? So I promise you faithfully, we will work.
So it's absolutely essential that from a grassroots you have a voice and it will come up through the network to represent your voice at grassroots level and not necessarily that of our friends.
Can you hear me? Yes. It's fallen to me as chair of SWSN to close this conference, and that really means thanking everybody who made it possible, and obviously the first thanks are to Val Singleton for so ably chairing the entire day. Tony Watts, without whose expertise and charisma this would not have happened at all. and to Southwest Foundation for all their organisation.
Well, there's a lot of talking. Hopefully there's a lot of listening as well, because what we had there were about 100 older people from all around the region whose views and experience and expertise, really do need to be taken into account when organisations sort of shape and deliver services. And we're hoping from the working groups we had today that the practical solutions to these problems will give us a platform to campaign and to work with other partners in the region and nationally to try and find solutions to some of the apparently intractable issues like isolation, the housing problems for older people, the fact that too many people are not being looked after in the care system, and the fact that an awful lot of older people who shouldn't be suffering from ill health are, simply because they're not sort of being kept fit and engaged and active in society. So the whole feeling of the day was one of shared ideas, a few arguments, but not, which is always very healthy, I think. The feeling of most older people is that given the opportunity, they're quite capable of making their own case, So I think that what I would like to see is closer working between Age UK and the forums and my own organisation to make sure that when there's a big issue to be discussed and to be promoted and to be broadcast, that older people themselves can be seen to be part of that process of speaking up for themselves. It's their challenges, but they need to be part of the solution as well.